What's going on, guys? Back here today to do something a little different, something you probably thought you never would see on my channel. Not been on my channel so far. I never thought I'd see it on my channel, but here we are, an AR-15 Colt SP1. Alright guys, so if you followed me for any length of time, you know I very seldom post anything on AR-15s just in general. I only own one because I feel like I should. Did some things to it, but I don't really feature it on Instagram or even here on YouTube just because I'm not an AR guy. It's not my thing. However, I do love retro style stuff. So I came across an SP1, an actual Colt SP1, and I figured I just need to have it. Need to have it for the collection. Something that I'm very seldom gonna shoot, but I feel like it's just that piece of firearms history that I wanted to have in my collection. So we're just gonna shoot a little bit today, talk a little bit about it. I'm not an expert on these things, but I have a little bit of information on it. So let's just talk about it and throw some rounds downrange, and that's it. All right, guys, so what I got here is a serial number verified from Colt, manufactured in 1986. It is an SP1. You'll see here, SP1 on the receiver. It is a slab side, so it is an early model still. It does have, as you can see, it does have the serrations on the bolt for the forward assist. But the forward assist wasn't really introduced into the civilian market until a little later when the A2s came around. So this is still an A1 version. When I found it, it was set up in an A2. So when I got it, it had the A2 style handguard, it had the A2 style grip, didn't have any magazines, it didn't have a sling, so I had to get a hold of those things. So I wanted to make it that like sort of era correct. I wanted the A1, the triangle handguard, that look of the retro rifle. This is a 20-inch barrel, just to be noted, the pencil barrel. So this is an all original, accurate SP1, which would have been the A1. The mags I found at a gun show, these were considered to be, you know, like A1 grade, you know, stamped Colt AR-15. 223 20 round mags. What I wanted to do was have that traditional 20 round box mag because I feel like it completes the look, whereas the 30s, the curve of the 30s doesn't really look well, I think, in my opinion, with this profile of a gun. While I was getting parts, the last thing I grabbed was an era correct bayonet. So everything that's on this rifle now is not new manufactured. So this is great condition surplus. Same with the grip, same with the silent sling, they called it, just black. I didn't do the green because the guy I was talking to said that for this particular era, it was still black. They hadn't transitioned over to the green yet. Whether that's correct or not, I don't know. I'm not an AR guy, but I like the look of that. The bayonet also that was available, surplus, is black. Came with the scabbard and everything, so it is complete as, you know, I'd like it to be. The only thing I want to do to it still is get the old school ×3 sight that mounted to the top. And I don't really care to spend the extra money to find the original, so I will end up at some point getting the Brownell's retro line version, the reproduction. That's very popular, so I'll get that most likely and put it on here. That'll really be the only thing that's not era correct with the gun. Some people say, oh well, if you got the whole thing era correct and original, you know, surplus parts, you should really find the original optic. But again, the AR-15s are not my thing. I don't really care. You know, I don't want to spend a bunch of money on something I'm really never going to shoot. So all of these surplus parts, even though in great condition, were fairly inexpensive. I mean, very cheap, all things considered. So I might as well just mate that with a lesser expensive optic. All right, so I got 20 rounds loaded up in the 20 round mag. This is 223, it's worth noting. I just decided to do 223 because it's supposed to be 223, whether it really matters or not. Again, I'm not an expert in AR-15s, but I'm just gonna keep it OG, keep it original, use the 223s, even though I'm sure 5.56 will be just fine. runs flawless. What I'd like to mention quickly about this AR, this Colt SP1, is that I've never fired at 20-inch barrel AR before. The one I have, 16 inches, you know, it's more modern, the heavier barrel, the whole thing, the shorter mid-length, you know, gas tube. So, you know, this is the 20-inch barrel, pencil-thin barrel with the long rifle-length gas tube. So, even though I don't have a lot of experience with ARs just generally, I could immediately tell the difference in how soft this shot compared to other ARs that I have fired, and even the one that I own. So yes, I'm using 223 as opposed to 5.56. However, that rifle length gas tube really does make a difference in felt recoil. I feel like, you know, it's just a really nice, soft, flat shooting rifle. Another difference to me that I'm not used to is, you know, is sort of hearing that buffer go back and forth. You can kind of just hear that spring traveling along in that stock. So it's cool. It's a different experience, very nostalgic experience. I like it. I just feel like I'm in the jungles of Nam with this thing. It feels so nice. All right, I got the bayonet off for this one. Gives you a little side profile, see this thing work. All right, so I want to give you guys just a nice close-up of this, and really just to appreciate, you know, the beauty that is an original rifle like this. You can see it's hot right now. Maybe it's coming up. Got a little bit of smoke coming out of there, heat from the barrel. It is up here, does feel just a little warm, nothing crazy. Now that I just can tell it's been fired. It's getting slimmer down here, it's getting a little warm. So you can definitely tell it's been shot. As it comes in, you get a nice view of the slab side. What I'll tell you shooting this now, what I don't really particularly care for is the way this grip is set up. So coming up high on it here, my middle finger, the knuckle, and this area here is just essentially riding right on metal, and this grip doesn't really do a whole lot right there, so my finger's kind of riding up against that. And in shooting, it hits my knuckle on the side here, and I could just tell like it was just a little, not discomfort, but afterwards I felt like, it feels a little weird on my thumb, almost like a dead finger, like if you got a dead arm, so I punch in your arm, just kind of felt like it was asleep for a second. Then moving back forward, the stock, I got no complaints with the stock. The stock is comfortable, it's long, the length of pull I don't feel like is bad really. I mean, I get a nice sight picture, you know, through the sights here. Coming back around on this side again, give you a nice little view of that with the OG SP1. I tell you guys, it's something just about this style rifle. What I also like about it, I feel like just shooting it here, I feel like I'm in the movie Heat. That whole shootout scene with Val Kilmer, even though this isn't the gun, it's too big, it's nothing like that gun really. I just felt like when I'm here shooting it and moving around and shooting, it felt very like I had a vision of that shot with Val Kilmer over his shoulder where he's just going to town in the city. All right guys, that's really it. Nothing fancy about this video. I just wanted to shoot it a little bit, talk about it. So let's run the last 20 with the bayonet on. We'll do a little pokey at the end. All right guys, don't forget Steve MP5 on the Instagrams. See you next time.